All right. Daniel Dubois, former WBA World Heavyweight Champion, 20 wins, 2 losses, taking on 17-0 Filip Hrgović, the first Croatian boxer in a long time fighting for the IBF interim champion. Now, guys, before we get to the fight, now information did say that Filip Hrgović was actually upset because in May the 18th, Alexander won the fight. They said that they wanted a rematch clause so they can have a rematch for the fight, which is going to take place in December. The thing is, Tyson Fury was never part of the IBF. Excuse me. So, and they're saying that the mandatory challenger should be Filip Hrgović and Usyk, or maybe Joshua. But yeah, again, who wants to see a third match betwixt them? So at this moment, you think to yourself, no, strip the title away. Like, there's just no way. If he's not going to fight for the IBF mandatory challenger, then fight him. But at this moment, because Daniel Dubois was already going to have a match on June the 1st for this 5v5, so people think to themselves, well, we might as well vacate the title and give it to them. And then for a couple of days before the fight happens, on June the 1st, the IBF already had their reports, and it stated that backstage at the time, days when training for this fight, Filip Hrgović was said to be pissed off that this fight never is not for the title. Now, guys, I don't blame him for being upset, but guys, I did hear a couple people, rumors online saying that if Hrgović knew that this was for the IBF heavyweight title, he would have done better, he would have been more precautious, and he would have won the fight. But now it's for the IBF interim belt. He's been struggling for 2 years. He barely defeated Jilly Zhang by controversial decision. He won against Dempsey McKean easily, but people on the internet have been saying how horrible he is as a boxer because he doesn't have skills, he doesn't have great style, he's just a lucky guy that's winning fights against undefeated opponents. He's not much of a contender, but he deserves to have a spot because he's a Croatian fighter, and I think he deserves a heavyweight title. We have never seen a Croatian fighter ever fought for the heavyweight title since September the 26th, 1998, when Lennox Lewis won 12 rounds by decision against a guy named Zdziko Marvarek for the heavyweight title for the WBC. And he was 27-0 at the time in Croatia, and after he lost against Lennox Lewis, he never fought again. So at this moment, like, we're over 25 years since the last Croatian boxer and the first and only to ever fight for a title, which only one Croatian has ever fought for a world heavyweight title, so why not just give him a chance? The IBF says no, mandatory challenger, whoever wins is going to be for the eliminator, and that's that. And guys, even if it's true, guys, I don't want to say that Filip Hrgović made an excuse. I'm sure Filip Hrgović is making up excuses right now, saying why he didn't win the fight is because he didn't get over that this fight was for the IBF interim champion. It was never a world heavyweight champion. But whether that's true or not, you still have to be competitive. Ignore everything that's going on right now and just fight the game. Just fight already. And even if this was for the IBF World Heavyweight title, the fight might still end the same way as I'm going to review this now. And how did the fight go? Well, it wasn't a squash match. I believe Filip Hrgović would have won the fight because I did have him, like, for instance, let's just skip round 1, guys, because round 1 didn't have a lot of punching, but there were times that Hrgović was throwing more punches, and he landed maybe 10 punches while Daniel Dubois landed, I don't know, 7? I gotta go back and watch the fight because they do show us those cards after round 1. I think Hrgović threw like 40 punches and probably Dubois landed like, I think he landed 5 punches and Hrgović landed 12, but still. But anyway, the first round was easy. The second round, we're 30 seconds into the round, and the second round was pretty decent. Hrgović were throwing out punches upstairs, and Hrgović was throwing good 1-2 punch combinations in the second round at the point. There were times that Hrgović was doing a good job in round 2 that it was pretty decent. But yet again, Dubois was landing more punches of his own at the time in the fight. So they were both doing good job for each other. It wasn't a dominating squash match. Like the first round was a squash because there weren't a lot, but there was a lot of punches landed for Hrgović, so we know that. We come to round 2, and mostly it was just a good even round. It was a good round, but it seemed like Hrgović might have won that round, but it's up to you viewers to decide. It was a close round, but looking back at it, I feel like Dubois won that round, so I actually gave Dubois that second round just for the heck of it, because it was a good round. But then you come to round 3, round 4, round 5, and round 6, and they were close rounds. They really were. And it seemed like Hrgović might have won each of those rounds, even though they were close. And when I mean close, they were close. They were close to be even whether or not. Like round 3 was an even round for both of them. And then you come to round 4, and this is when the moment the party happens. You come to round 4, and it seemed like that Dubois found his mark. He was backing him into the ropes. I think there was times that he was doing that as well. Also, guys, there were some good body shots downstairs and good uppercuts, but there were still some chances that, well, no uppercuts, but they were just good jabs and great shots. But Hrgović and Dubois were both evening up each round in every fight. There was no squash rounds in the other rounds except round 1 and round 7. But yet again, it was an even type of fight that you can say this fighter's winning and this fighter's winning, or that fighter's winning and that fighter's winning. So you come to round 5, and again, like Hrgović won round 4, and in round 5, Hrgović at this moment throws this unbelievable punch. With 1 minute 30 seconds left in the fight, he throws this great right hand. And at this moment, when seeing the buckled, I almost thought Dubois' legs were getting buckled. Because at this moment, I was like, and then with 13 seconds left of the fight, he throws another heavy right punch. Like, he throws double jab. At this moment, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a round win for Dubois, for Hrgović. And come round 6, yet again, another good fight for Hrgović. Like, after 6 rounds, it just seemed like Hrgović was winning the fight. And at this moment, guys, this is when the bloodiness becomes reality for Eddie Hearn here, because you come to round 7 and you think to yourself that, because it did say on the top left corner of the screen where there's actually blue coloring of QB and a 1 with number 6 and 0 on the right with an MR, means matchroom, with red colors on the left side of the screen of the TV. So you viewers, if you see that, that's the score of what the score is for matchroom in Queensberry. So this is fight number 4 out of 5. And this fight might be end by knockout, giving matchroom a chance. But whether that's true or not, that was just far away from truth, because with 1 minute into the 7th round, Dubois just manages to land these great punches, great shots. There's nothing. This is the moment when Filip Hrgović should have been careful. With 1 minute left in with 1 minute left in the 7th round, Dubois throws great right hand, backs him to the ropes. He throws another hard right punch of his own with 15 seconds left of the fight. And then he tries to it seemed like he was trying to headbutt his opponent. By the way, guys, I actually forgot to mention that because, guys, I think I forgot to mention, did I ever tell you viewers about the controversial, the headbutting in one of the fights, which I think it was the Austin Williams versus Shiraz fight, where there's some headbutt involved? Because I remember there was actually headbutts in round 4 and round 10 or round 11 where Austin Williams was cheating to headbutt Shiraz in that fight. And I said that was somewhat controversial as well, just like any of the other fight, because when watching that, I was thinking to myself, the referees weren't doing their jobs. And I feel bad because, guys, this is the moment when I think to myself, Filip Hrgović should have won the fight and Dubois should have been penaltied. I think this is the moment where I actually thought to myself, Daniel Dubois should have been penalized. Because with 10 seconds left, like, he punches, Hrgović has his arm, he's hanging on to Dubois' arm as he's gripping it so he won't, he's clinching him. And Dubois is almost, like, angles his head straight onto him. The referee sees it, stops it, times out, puts Hrgović, warns him for headbutting. Then the camera cuts to Hrgović in his bloody face. At this moment, I'm not saying those are caused by headbutts, but at the same time, when you look at this, you think to yourself, why is Hrgović getting hurt so much? Then why is Hrgović bleeding more than Dubois, considering that Dubois hasn't bled once? Or maybe he is, we just don't see a lot of bruises. I did find some red flags, and when watching this fight, I was thinking to myself, wait, is Matchroom cheating? Is Frank Warren, is someone put plaster or hand wraps in the gloves or something? Because if there's a reason why Queensberry Rules is actually defeating Matchroom 3 points, like the score is 6-0, and if he wins this, it's going to be 8-0. At this moment, you think to yourself, wait a minute, something's up. I was thinking something controversial because why is Filip Hrgovic's face bleeding and not Daniel Dubois, and we're only a few seconds away from round 7? And then he walks up to Daniel Dubois. He doesn't have time to put his hands up when Dubois throws a couple more crazy left hands on his face. The bell rings at this moment. And then coming into round 8, his shorts, like Hrgovic's shorts, are bloody with a Croatian flag. He's fighting for his life. And Dubois at this moment is throwing punches. And there's times, and then suddenly he backs him into the ropes, and he turns his body to the left and to the right. Well, he turns his head to the left and the right. It's only you can even see him hit Hrgović in the chin twice with his head. And I'm like, referee, he's headbutting him. Do something. Because, guys, if you look at him back him to rope, punching left body upstairs, right stairs, upstairs, downstairs, he angles, he goes, boom, hits him while he turns his head to the left, turns his head to the right, left, to the right and left, and he's just angling the clinch on him, and I'm like, penalty this guy! Penalty Daniel Dubois, he's cheating! And he stops the clinching, the referee sees it, and at this moment, seconds later, he says time. At this moment, I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's going to penalize Daniel Dubois. Nope. He goes straight to the goddamn doctor to tell, is Hrgović ready to fight? Is he okay to fight? The doctor looks at his cuts. He whispers right to the referee's ear, waves the fight. What the fuck? Filip Hrgović loses round 8 TKO in 1 minute against Daniel Dubois, a man that should not deserve the win. I was thinking to myself, what about the technical decision? Is there a technical decision? Like, why? At this moment, you think to yourself, if you're Eddie Hearn right now, you think to yourself, this is unfair. This was so unfair. And guys, I even go on to headlines today saying that the next fight for the IBF is now going to be for a heavyweight title, because now I actually heard reports about this saying that I heard rumors saying that Alexander Usyk is going to strip the IBF heavyweight title away, and someone says that the IBF will take place for a vacant title with Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua. What the fuck? We're not here to see two British bastards. We're here to see another country fight for a heavyweight title that has never been fought for since September of 1998 against Lennox Lewis. This is unfair. Guys, it still upsets me when I look back at the fight like last week ago, seeing when I saw Lawrence Okali go first round knockout against a Polish guy named Lukas Razomski for the WBC Bridgeweight title. And I watched that fight and I'm thinking to myself, dude, Polish fighters suck in the heavyweight. Come on, man. Don't give British people and Russian people and Ukrainian and American people. They've won enough titles in the heavyweight division. Give some other countries a chance to fight for the title, huh? Like, guys, I don't think Zhilei Zhang will ever fight for a world heavyweight title in his life. I know he won't, but the least you can do is try to give them chances. This is the most unfair, unacceptable in boxing. This should have not been a win for Daniel Dubois. He should have never deserved to win this fight due to his headbutts he did in round 8 and some of the stuff that happened in the 7th. But still, and guys, Hrgović won the fight. I did give him the scorecards. I scored his cards 68-65. Clearly, it was a win. Why didn't they go to scorecards like Evander Holyfield with the Hasim Ratman, or that fight in 2002 where the fight went 8 rounds and surprisingly Evander Holyfield won by technical decision in 2002 in one fight? Why not they do that? Like, some of these things would have been changed for, but this was just some fight that I did not like, and it was the worst, and I was pissed off, not because of Eddie Hearn, because, guys, Phil Hrgović, if he lost by knockout against Dubois, I would have been like, okay, I'm upset, but you know what, Dubois did what he did, just like he did to Jarrell Miller, so I guess. But come on, man. It's so weird. And guys, I just hope to God they don't strip the IBF title right now, because if they do and they just give it to now Joshua and Dubois, we know Anthony Joshua is going to kill Daniel Dubois. We know that. But come on, it's tiring. I don't feel like it's deserving. I just, no. Guys, I feel like ever since Alexander Usyk became undisputed, these things are just turning into a disaster of crime. It's just so bad that you have these countries around the world. Because, guys, it's not just the UK, Ukraine, Russia, or America that's fighting for the heavyweight division in boxing. We have Ajit Kabayel from Germany. No one has won a title in Germany since 2017 with Manuel Charr, but people don't think that deserves to be, because the WBA regular heavyweight title is not a title. He even won in 2023 by the court. And, of course, people still think Max Schmeling is still the only fighter. It's not like how you think to yourself when George Foreman and won in 1995 against a German fighter with Axel Schultz, and how he got robbed several times for winning a heavyweight title because people think German people are the worst. But you guys understand, like, what about Chinese people? Zhilei Zhang, the only fighter, and he's still ranked into the division heavyweight. Martin Bakal, like, he's from the country of the Republic of Congo. Like, should he deserve a heavyweight title? He's number 1 in the WBA, so he should deserve it. Otto Wallin, we need a Swedish fighter. Armenian, Murat Gassiv. Like, Filip Hrgović, he's from Croatia. What about Luis Ortiz, or even Frank Sanchez, or any of those other Cuban fighters? They deserve it. We haven't seen a Cuban fighter win a heavyweight title in boxing. Or Kazakhstan with Zan Kosobowski. Like he hasn't won a title before. Or even Denmark, Kem Lundqvist. And to be honest, we don't know if he even has a chance of being a title contender. Like, my point is, guys, we have a bunch of countries around the world that have no chance to go for a heavyweight title, but can we at least give them a chance to be in the rankings and to go for the rankings for a heavyweight title? It's lame, and I hate that we have these countries that have won titles over and over again. It's bad that we have Britain and the Ukraine doing a good job dominating, because I feel like the Ukraine, British, and the USA are the only countries that are that good in heavyweights, because they've been around the sport for a long time. British people and American have been around the heavyweight since the bare knuckle era in the 1900s and during the 19th century. So it's so bad that you have a lot of these countries that have no chance of going for the title because their country hasn't been around the sport for a long time, or mostly in the heavyweight division. It's upsetting to me, and I just wish this is not the case. And it stinks that these countries will never have a chance to go for a heavyweight championship. We know Zhilei Zhang won't win a heavyweight champion. We know Ajit Kabayel might, but he might not win the title. Martin Bakal, he might not get a title shot, and if he does, he might not win because he might not. Who knows? Like, any of these countries around the world do not have a chance, and that's what upsets me the most, and I just hate it. I hate it so much, and I'm going to keep saying it until the day's over. So yeah, Daniel Dubois goes for the win, and he wins it by stupidity of doctors, and that's it. Fight's over, and that's all you can say.